stuff. Now, today, I want to talk about learning. Um, at the end of most months, a young author by the name of Emily Freeman invites her followers to post on her blog called Chatting at the Sky all the things they learned in the last 30 days. It's always a special treat to browse through the offerings, the ideas, and the perspectives. See, given all the diverse ages and seasons of life, it's also a growing opportunity. While we learn best by personal experience, much can be gained by the second-hand accounting of others. Sometimes it's just a comfort to compare notes, to see that one is not alone in this internship called life. Well, this exercise Emily provides makes a person stop and ponder on whether or not anything was learned at all. Does learning have to be ongoing till the last breath? Or does a time come when the brain just can't take in anymore? Well, I decided that this month what I learned was that I don't want to stop learning. I don't want to get to where my brain has reached saturation point. And I know I learned this from someone who was very close to me. Years ago, she wrote about what learning meant to her, and I'm going to share this with you. She wrote, I was in a time crunch, as usual. It was Monday, June 24th. My opening performance at the library was July 1st. I still wasn't finished with the puppets and had not yet practiced with the soundtrack. Well, I made a desperate dash to Toys R Us, and it netted me 4 small dolls, on sale even. I took them home and I lovingly dismembered them, using only the polymolded heads and hands and feet. And with hot glue and scrap fabric, I quickly made the bodies, clothing, rods, and strings in Puppet Maker's fast track mode. But I was giving one of the dolls a haircut and as well as a sex change, and I had a serious flashback. I saw myself arguing with my mother. I could hear myself telling her ever so earnestly I would never, ever cut my new Christmas doll's hair. Now, my mother's expression was a classic lips pursed, eyes narrowed disbelief. You see, my track record on this issue wasn't so clean. Well, I don't know why I was compelled to cut the shiny curls of every doll I ever owned. I wonder now if my mother might have worried if I had a destructive streak and was headed for a life of crime. Well, I swear I was never cruel to animals. I simply couldn't resist the sound of the scissors crisply snipping through that nylon-rooted hair. Well, whatever the reason that drove me to practice hair sculpting as a child, I'm glad my mom was patient with me. For now, no matter what my creative endeavor might be, from designing crafts to puppetry to writing, I've been able to dip into my reserves experiences time and time again in order to beat my deadlines. You know, nickel knowledge is rarely given its fair due. Creating, especially making something from nothing, was always a passion first. And later, after raising my kids, I was able to use that passion working in a variety of jobs, designing everything from wood furniture to quilted clothing. Now, I can't claim I can do anything, but I can say there isn't much I won't try, and that's probably the crux of the whole learning thing. Willingness to try even if you crash, burn, and fail. Who cares? I've always thought it was the trying that counted most anyways. My first sewing machine was an old Singer treadle. I was 12. I needed a pair of pedal pushers that actually fit. I bought 2 yards of blue chino, a pattern, thread, a zipper, and said to myself, well, how hard can it be? Now, this attitude has seen me through a myriad of learning curves. The years I worked as a professional photo stylist required that I learn to design and paint sets. I also learned the art of illusion, which was great training for perspective and visual effects. Making backdrops, we were sponging walls long before the home decor industry discovered the art form. Though seemingly unrelated, every little old thing I packed into my experience data files is a resource for future referencing. When someone asks me how I know how to do a thing, I'm stymied, because I know they aren't looking for a life history. But the truth is, it's taken a lifetime for me to learn how to create, so I have a degree in the life earned bit by bit over the past half century. And I realize now I'm never going to graduate. I can now look back at myself, gleefully relieving my dolls of their shiny curls, and laugh out loud. I guess if you're going to need a skill someday, you got to start somewhere. You might not be proficient at first, and maybe even never. But if we are the sum of everything we have ever experienced, it stands to reason it's our responsibility to the future of human development to continue adding on by putting ourselves in constant learning curves. And I say, may it never end. Till next time.